MrBeast has been under fire recently for a lot of things, but one of them being the initiatives Team Seas and Team Trees, while at the same time taking sponsorships from a company known as Circle. This is raised the question, are these initiatives just for clout, or are they actually helping? While that's a complicated question, let's look at the numbers. When MrBeast hit 20 million subscribers, he started Team Trees and raised $20 million to plant 20 million trees. According to my very in-depth research, there's about 15 billion trees in the whole world. That is a lot of trees, but according to reports, 42 million trees are cut down every single day. So ultimately, Team Trees only planted worth about half a day's worth of trees. And if we look at Team Seas, it's a very similar picture. When he hit 30 million subscribers, he raised $30 million to remove 30 million pounds of trash from the ocean. 1 pound for every dollar donated. But from reports, we can learn that there are 33 billion pounds of trash dumped into the ocean every single year. So they took about 1/3 of a day's worth of trash out of the ocean. Oh, and it took 991 days to raise enough money to do that. And then there's Circle. This is a company that MrBeast has recently partnered with on a few of his videos, and it's basically a water bottle subscription service where you have to buy flavor pods to put in the water bottle to continue using it so your water tastes like some varied flavors. There have been a bunch of very similar sponsorships on other channels, so I'm sure you've seen them around. A lot of people think it's unfair for MrBeast to take a sponsorship from a company like Circle and run something like Team Seas. First, let's focus on the impact that Team Seas and Team Trees has had. When MrBeast hit 30 million subscribers, he talked with a lot of other YouTubers and collabed with them to help get the word out for Team Seas. Here's an interview with MrBeast from Marques Brownlee, where he asks about the impact that Team Seas is going to have.
Why should the internet care about Team Seas?
Well, I mean, if you care about the ocean, you should care about Team Seas. But also at the same time, like, it's not the end all be all. It's not gonna fix all our issues. I think it's just a way to show that, you know, the younger generation cares and we want to make a change, and, like, you know, these little things add up, right? Yes, this one thing might not, you know, make a huge dent, but if 100 of them happen and inspires people to build new technology, it all adds up. So it's really just about, you know, making a little dent and inspiring the younger generation to do good.
It's not necessarily about the 30 million pounds, it's about the inspiration,
Exactly.
It's about the positive net influence of people coming together and demonstrating something powerful. So
when it comes down to it, some people are mad by the fact that they made Team Seas sound like it was a big thing when really it was only removing about 1/3 of a day's worth of pollution. But when I look at that, I don't think it should reflect on how little Team Seas did. I think it should reflect on just how much trash is dumped into the ocean every day. So this has led people to the conclusion that since he's clearly not doing it for the impact that it's having, because there's essentially none, he's doing it for PR and taking advantage of his young audience at the same time. One video I highly suggest you watch are These Charities Are Bogus, Here's Why, by Quinthio. He gives his own opinion on the whole situation, and I disagree with him on a few points, and that's not me trying to start some internet beef, so go subscribe to him. I won't be covering everything we disagree about in the video, because I want you to go watch his video too and form your own opinion, but here's one of the things that I do disagree with.
Pulling in all of their audiences, especially when a lot of these people are looked up to by, like, children, for instance, it ends up setting the perception that we can make a difference in what we do in our daily lives, as opposed to how we need to vote and the policies, like I said, that need to get enacted and restrictions that need to be in place to stop the main polluters.
And now for a word from our sponsors, which is me and him. You see, we finally hit 500 subscribers after a whole year of publishing content on YouTube, which means we've just unlocked channel memberships. So if you want to get early access to great videos just like this one, and with more benefits to come, then go ahead and join our membership program and claim your Here Before 1K membership badge. Contrary to what he said, I think that we are the only ones that can make a difference. I know this is a little bit of a stretch, but let's just walk through this situation. Imagine a kid who was a fan of MrBeast around that 30 million mark, and he got his parents to donate a couple dollars to Team Seas. This leaves him feeling good and feeling like he made somewhat of an impact by removing 3 pounds of trash from the ocean. So as they continue to grow up, that sticks with them, and they are conscious of the impact they have on the environment. So they go to college and they land a job and they work their way up the job, and suddenly they're in a leadership position where they can make changes based off what they think is right. And because of the experience they had when they were younger donating to Team Seas, maybe, just maybe, they'll make some good changes and reduce the amount of plastic that company makes. Or just maybe they become a politician that advocates for more regulation for the companies that produce so much pollution. The second question is this just PR? Does MrBeast and other YouTubers simply do charity work because it makes them look good to their audiences. My first response is, does it matter? I've thought about in the past, like, why don't the billionaires of the world, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, why don't they just start spending their money to fix some of the world's issues? And I think it's because they would get a ton of backlash if they did. Just like we see Mr. Beast going around building wells in Africa or building houses, every time he makes one of those videos, he gets a ton of backlash on Twitter. And it's all people claiming he's just doing it for PR and he wants to make himself look good. The fact is that those people still have a house. Those people still have wells in their villages now. So does it really matter at the end of the day? And we all know that environmental advocacy is good for PR. Why do you think so many celebrities also support movements like this? Or is it possible that they're just using their platforms, which most people don't have, to advocate for such change? Do we really need to care if they're doing it from the goodness of their heart or just to make themselves look good, when at the end of the day it's still getting done? One thing that I do think Mr. Beast could have done better with the whole Team Seas and Team Trees initiative is that they should have called out companies for producing such large amount of waste and cutting down so many trees. On the video I mentioned earlier, DocPack44, and yes, he's the Mr. Beast employee, he even commented this: Team C's never mentioning the role corporations play in plastic pollution is insane. And I totally agree with that. Reports say that 50% of the pollution that's thrown into the ocean is straight from companies. So while I think that it was a fantastic thing that 30 million pounds of trash got removed from the ocean, it's a drop in the bucket. And that's not to say that it's inconsequential. Sometimes all we need is a little push, and as a snowball rolls down a hill, it'll get bigger and bigger until it can actually make a difference. Are Team Trees and Team Seas the end-all be-all for saving the planet? Absolutely not. And I don't think it was ever marketed that way. Now, it also wasn't marketed like it wasn't going to do anything, because it did in fact remove a lot of trash from the ocean. It's just a problem that even more pollution is being thrown right back into it every day. So whether you believe in the power that these initiatives have and if they'll make a difference or not, regardless, we're still talking about them today. This happened 2 years ago, so they've clearly had somewhat of an impact. Whether good or bad is up for you to decide. At the end of each video, we like to read off all of our current members, and I've got them all written down in here. Thank you to...
It's blank.
What?